Hello again. I wanted to share a thought with you today. If your nervous system feels loud lately, and like everything is just a bit too much, you're not imagining it, and you're not weak, and there's usually a reason. A loud nervous system doesn't mean you're broken. It means something inside you feels unsafe, overloaded, or unresolved, and often, especially for high-functioning people, it's not obvious. You can look calm on the outside and feel completely flooded on the inside. You can be productive, capable, and responsible, and yet your chest can still feel tight, your thoughts won't slow down, or it's like you're constantly bracing for something. That's not personality, that's activation. Your nervous system has two main modes most of us recognize: safe and regulated, or protective and activated. When it's activated, it can sound like racing thoughts, irritability, snapping at small things, overthinking every interaction, feeling behind even when you're not, trouble switching off, and a low-level hum of urgency. Sometimes it's louder. You might have a tight chest. You might experience shallow breathing or a burst of sudden anger. You might feel frozen or have brain fog. Sometimes people call this anxiety, or sometimes it's called overwhelm. Sometimes it's just being overstimulated for too long. And here's the part most people miss: it's not random. But before we go any further, I want to offer you something simple, because this is where people usually get stuck. There are different kinds of loud. Most people try to use one solution for all of them, but your nervous system is more specific than that. Sometimes it's alarm loud, like urgency, irritation, scanning for what's wrong, or feeling braced. Sometimes it's static loud, like overwhelm, brain fog, sensory fatigue, and feeling like you can't think clearly. And sometimes it's echo loud, like looping thoughts, replaying conversations, self-critiquing that won't stop talking. In a moment, I'll give you one question that tells you which one you're in, because once you name it, it gets quieter, not instantly, but gradually. Now, back to what I was saying. Your nervous system gets loud when you've been overriding yourself, when you've been saying yes when you mean no, when you've been holding things in, when you've been performing capability, when you haven't processed something properly, or you haven't rested deeply in a long time. For a lot of high-functioning people, especially those carrying responsibility well, the nervous system doesn't scream it right away. It whispers first. And when the whispers are ignored, it gets louder. Not to punish you, but to protect you. And here's something important. A loud nervous system is just trying to do its job. It thinks there's danger. The problem is, in modern life, danger isn't always physical. It can be social pressure, work expectations, uncertainty, being misunderstood, conflict, perfectionism, or chronic busyness. A funny thing, your body doesn't always know the difference between a tiger and an inbox. It just knows something feels unsafe, and it responds. That's why anxiety can feel so physical even when there's nothing wrong on paper. Now here's the shift. Instead of asking, how do I shut this down? Try asking, what is this protecting me from? What have I been tolerating? What have I been ignoring? Or what have I been overextending? Sometimes regulation isn't about breathing techniques. Sometimes it's about honesty and admitting I'm stretched, I'm hurt, I'm tired, or I'm carrying too much. This doesn't make you fragile, it makes you aware, and awareness is calming. Because once you start to understand why your nervous system is loud, it stops feeling mysterious. It becomes information. When something is information instead of a threat, it softens. Not instantly, but gradually. Now I want to give you that question I mentioned. If your nervous system feels loud, ask yourself, do I feel unsafe? Do I feel overloaded? Or do I feel stuck? Unsafe is alarm loud. Overload is static loud, and stuck is echo loud. and each one needs a different kind of care. So let's make this gentle and practical. If it's alarm loud, if you feel unsafe, your body usually needs safety more than insight. Not a perfect mindset, not a lecture, just safety. So you might try this. Soften your gaze, let your eyes take in the room, and lengthen your exhale slightly. Not to force calm, just to let your body know, in this moment, I'm here, I'm safe. And sometimes the most regulating thing you can do is reduce input, less noise, fewer decisions, and a smaller world for 10 minutes. If it's static loud, if you feel overloaded, this is often a bandwidth problem. Your nervous system isn't failing, your nervous system is just full. And when your system is full, even small things feel sharp. So instead of trying to solve your entire life, reduce the load, write everything down that you've been carrying, even if it's messy. Give it somewhere to go beside your body, then choose one next step. Not 10, just one. Because overload doesn't respond to pressure, it responds to simplification. If it's echo loud, if you feel stuck, this is usually where overthinking lives. Looping thoughts are often unfinished emotions looking for a container. So instead of wrestling the thought in your head, you can place it somewhere. Write the loop once, and just once, and then write, what is this thought trying to protect me from? What feeling is underneath it? What would be true if I let this go? Not to fix yourself, but just to stop carrying it silently. And if you're listening to this and thinking, I don't even know which one it is, that's okay. Even asking the question is regulation, because it shifts you from panic to curiosity, from reaction to response, and that alone can soften the volume. If your nervous system has been loud lately, I want you to consider this. Maybe it's not a flaw, maybe it's feedback. Maybe it's asking for boundaries, slower pacing, time for processing, saying no, rest, support, or simply acknowledgement. You don't have to silence it, you can listen to it, and you can respond instead of react. That's the shift. If this resonated with you, I created a free resource called the Trigger Calm Journal. It's not about fixing yourself, it's about creating a space to understand what's happening inside of you. Gently without judgment, and I'll link it below. Just remember, a loud nervous system isn't proof you're failing, it's proof your body is trying to protect you, and that's not weakness, that's intelligent. Thank you for listening, and I'm with you in the moment. I'll see you in the next one.